Hello there, how are you doing? Hope you are staying well. Now you may be thinking, what is Paul doing today and why does he seem to be effectively in a cupboard? Well, I am at home and I am right in the depths, I suppose, of part of my record collection. Now if you've watched a lot of my videos, you'll know that I collect records, or heaven forbid if you've shared an office with me or know me or indeed been to my apartment. And I have far too many of them. There's one thing that I guess it's hard to describe why I want to become a record collector. In some ways, it's because you want to become close to, I guess, the music that you really like or a particular artist that you're following, and you want something that essentially shows how much you enjoy that music. You may think, where's this going? How is this a technology video? Well, today I want to talk about something called NFTs, non-fungible tokens. Nothing to do with mushrooms. I know someone once said, is it something to do with mushrooms? I was like, why would it be that? And then I realized fungible. No, it is essentially a new way of buying art, I suppose buying art, which uses blockchain, and it's kind of a big thing at the moment. Now let me go somewhere I can actually sit down. It's a little bit uncomfortable in here, and I'll explain what they are, why I think they're important, whether they're a bit of a bubble, and why a lot of it is a little bit like record collecting. Let's go over there. Okay, here we are. Now apologies that the lighting isn't going to be as good in here as it would be on my normal videos. I don't have any room for a lighting rig, so I'm entirely dependent on the lights of my flat, which can make me look a bit ghoulish at times. But apologies, but let's talk about NFTs. Now, NFT 101. What is an NFT? A non-fungible token. Now, it all comes back down to blockchain. If you know a bit about Bitcoin or Ethereum, particularly Ethereum, you will understand an NFT. NFT is essentially a bit of code on a digital ledger on a blockchain, which each individual bit of data, each individual NFT token relates to a unique piece of normally digital art. It doesn't have to be digital art, but it relates to a unique thing. Let's call it a piece of art. The reason art is where this is most being heard is in the last couple of months, but certainly in the last few weeks in particular, there have been increased sales in terms of people buying an NFT in a piece of digital art. Art that essentially only exists online in the digital space. There is no physical copy. In some cases there could be a physical copy where someone prints it out, but normally it's digital art which can still be copied. You don't own the copyright. You don't really own anything other than the fact that you say, I own this art and I've got a token to prove it. There are good things and bad things in this. The fact that we are now using blockchain as a proof of ownership tool is kind of cool, because we were talking about this from the very beginning when Bitcoin and blockchain were becoming very exciting and new. There would be a way to have essentially a way to completely prove ownership. It would cut down on things like fraud, except it kind of hasn't, because people have been creating NFTs of art they don't own and people have been buying them, which kind of defeats the object. But that's something that I think would be policed in time. The thing that is interesting is these artworks are selling for an absolute fortune, and big companies are jumping on the bandwagon. At the time of getting ready to produce this video, I saw that Time magazine are selling an NFT. Remember, this is a unique piece of code that says that you own a particular piece of digital art or something else. They're selling an NFT for one of their covers, which basically says fiat, as in fiat currency, not the cars. Fiat is dead. Fiat is not dead, but fiat is certainly having some challenges in terms of what's happening in the digital space. Now, I have been asked by friends, should we be investing in this? And I cannot provide any investment advice at all. In fact, I am a lawyer because I am not a financial advisor. I wouldn't have a clue. But I find the whole thing fascinating that it has created yet another blockchain-related bubble. Now, if you go back to discussions on Bitcoin, there was things, oh, should we be investing in this? Is this a valid method of investment? Is it just a place where everyone's going to lose their shirt? And same with other digital currencies or cryptocurrencies. And the advice was, well, there is going to be quite a lot of variation in what they're worth. There'll be bubbles. Those bubbles will pop. And I think a lot of people lost out when Bitcoin went very high and then basically it crashed again. But now it's high again. These are going up and down, and we're finding professional investors actually investing in terms of Bitcoin. Elon Musk has certainly done a lot to really sort of, I suppose, rationalize that. We're seeing some of the large banking institutions doing that too. They're seeing Bitcoin as an actual commodity or an actual investment opportunity. And of course, it's it's like any investment. It really isn't any different to the stock market, except that it doesn't often relate to an actual product. It's like investing in currency, and currencies can go up and down and crash. So there we go. Now NFT is kind of different. So NFT, when you have this token, this non-fungible token, you can say that this links to a piece of something, I keep using digital art, which you own. And that's great. But what do you actually own? Do you own the copyright? Do you own that piece of art? Well, the artwork itself is a digital thing. It has no physical, it's not like one of these records around me. I can lift it out, look at it, touch it, feel it. You don't own anything physically. It's a token, a digital token. Do you own the art? Well, normally when I said about copyright, owning art is an issue where if you own art, you can protect it. You can copyright it. You can sell it on. We'll come to sell it on in a minute. But you can essentially make money out of that. Now, can you do that with an NFT? You can, but only to the extent that other people are willing to buy that NFT. So let's use the Time magazine NFT as an example, or indeed the Twitter tweet, the first ever tweet on Twitter, which recently sold for an enormous amount of money as an NFT, the NFT to it. I keep saying the thing. It was the NFT. You don't necessarily own the thing, you just have a proof of ownership on a blockchain. Sold for an absolute massive amount of money. Now, this could just be a bubble and everyone's investing and people are seeing it's the next way to actually get rich quick. So many people regret not getting into Bitcoin at the very start that they think, well, maybe this is the way to go. And it could, if it goes as people hope, create a new market for investing in art. A weird one where you basically all you have is bragging rights that you own. I own this piece of art because there's a piece of code on a blockchain that says that I do. Can I see the art? Yes, I can look it up on Google. Here it is. But of course, you can all do that at any point, anytime you want to. So essentially, it becomes kind of like bragging rights, where is it really worth it? Now, people have said to me, what's the point? Why would anyone actually want to buy an NFT in something that doesn't exist? Well, NFTs don't necessarily have to be something in the digital space. You could have an NFT in something like a physical action figure, I suppose a vinyl record even. You could have, say, that I own the master copy of this because I have an NFT showing that I do. You could have anything like that. Think of them a little bit, and bear with me with this analogy, think of them as a bit like a digital version of trading cards. So if there are only a certain number of things, and I'm no expert on trading cards, and certainly not baseball cards, I've never understood them, but they sell for an absolute fortune. Intrinsically, what are they worth? They're only worth as much as someone is willing to pay. And the same is going to be very much true of an NFT. In another way, see it as taking assets on a blockchain, which so often, if they were going to be tradable, people could invest or make money of them, they're related to a currency, which is often a digital currency. Imagine them as relating to things, not physical things necessarily, not digital things necessarily, but things. I own a token which says that I own X, and that's it. So yeah, there's lots of problems. I mean, you're not really owning anything. People are spending an absolute fortune on something without any clear view as to what rights they have in it. But there's another element to it, which is why I wanted to record in here, and why at the very beginning I said it was a bit like being a music fan and a music collector. So I have friends, I may not seem very artistic, there's not much art in my flat. There's one picture in my flat, which maybe I'll show in this video, we'll see. But I have friends who are artists. And they are not artists in the traditional sense that they paint something, it goes in a gallery. They can only really make money in two ways. One is by someone essentially commissioning them or them selling their art to be used in a particular campaign, product launch, to an organization, and so on and so forth. But for my digital artist friends, that means it'd be an online campaign. It's very rare that they would use something that would become a physical art form. It would be used, I guess it would almost be a bit throwaway. I don't mean to insult them, but it would be a bit throwaway. And they probably are quite insulted by that too. However, NFTs provides a way for digital artists or any creator who creates something that just goes out there onto the internet to raise funds. You can essentially have a fan base, and one of my artist friends in particular does have a very big fan base who love the sort of stuff he produces. And he started selling NFTs to his artwork, to his digital artwork online, and raising Ethereum through that. And it's gone incredibly well. It's essentially become, I mentioned bragging rights, take bragging rights a step further. It's essentially like having an autographed record, I suppose, which you think, oh, this is awesome, this is from the artist and I own this and it's unique. But you're actually owning the rights to a digital piece of work, and the money goes to the artist. And as one of my artist chums said to me, not only do I get some money when someone pays for the NFT, I get some Ethereum in my account, and because Ethereum's going crazy at the moment, it actually goes up in value, it's worth more than they paid for it. But it also means that if there's a future sale, I'll get a share of the Ethereum from that too. So kind of cool. As an actual, is it going to rock the art world? I don't know. But then remember, people bought that Banksy painting, which as soon as they bought it, it was shredded in that special frame, and that was considered art and considered worth the price. So I'm no artist, I don't know. I'm obviously a bit of a dinosaur who likes physical formats. Now, the only problem with NFTs, apart from people getting a bit too excited and possibly losing all their money or wasting their money, is the fact that it is something else on a blockchain, and it uses vast amounts of energy. And I did see that someone did an NFT sale, and all the proceeds from that sale went towards carbon offsetting and trying to stop the fact that we're destroying the planet, creating what is essentially digital cash, digital tokens, digital money, which is a problem. I mean, you're not going to survive if the planet goes to hell. We can't start spending all our Bitcoin on air, things like that. But I think it's something that will be solved. I talked about clean tech a few weeks ago. I'm hoping that will be the case. And certainly Ethereum are changing the way their blockchain works. That should happen ideally in the next year, if not the year after, to make it a bit more energy efficient. And that should be the way forward. But there we go, NFTs, that's what they are. Why I don't think they're all nonsense. I think in terms of people spending lots of money for something not knowing what it is, that's always foolish. But for people using them to essentially give money back to an artist, show appreciation, I think it's kind of cool. Having the bragging rights that this piece of artwork that you may see all over the internet is actually mine, provided that you make sure the person you're buying it from did actually create it or has the rights to it, and therefore don't buy NFTs in something where it's basically worthless, then what the hell? Just as always, buyer beware. Let people who invest in things not do it blindly. In case they waste a load of money, find out they don't actually own anything. There are still plenty of people who think that when they buy an NFT, they will get the actual artwork and be able to control it. That is not necessarily the case. As long as you're aware of that, fair enough. It's another one of those crazy things that happens as we slowly move into this world of digital goods, digital currency, and more of our lives are online. Now, I'd be interested, could I sell an NFT in my record collection? Now, I was thinking about this. I was thinking, could I put it on, say, right, you can bid to own an NFT in my record collection. You won't actually own anything. You can just look at my account on Discogs and say, well, although that's under Paul Haswell's name, I've got an NFT which shows I own that, but I don't have any rights to it and I can't listen to it. The odd thing is, looking into it, yeah, I probably could. You couldn't say that the contract for it failed for lack of consideration. So if anyone wants to help me retire by essentially investing in something, I may even let you come down round and listen to them, then do let me know in the comments. Anyway, that's it for today. Very interesting views on this. It's going to change as time goes on, but I do think some of the craziness that's going on will die down. Think of it as another everyone's freaking out about Bitcoin moment. It's going to be one of those, but it may have some positive benefits for artists. So on that positive note, have a good one. I'll see you maybe in a different setting. But actually, it's getting warm in Hong Kong, and sitting in here without the air conditioning on so you can't hear it, it's actually quite warm. It's not exactly the ideal record listening environment. So I'm going to turn the aircon on, I'm going to turn the camera off, and I'll see you very soon. Take care.